Teething can be distressing for some babies, but there are ways to make it better. This week we've experienced pretty intense teething pains with our 13-month-old who jumped from having 7 teeth to 12 or possibly more. If you're new here, my name is Mihaela and I usually like to structure my videos into 3 parts. In the first part, I want to talk to you about symptoms and how we can tell that our babies are teething. In the second part of the video, I'll share with you our experience this week, what happened and what are some of the highs and lows, how we managed this whole week. Finally, in the last portion of the video, I will tell you some tips, some ways we can relieve the pain and how we can make it better. If you're sitting there wondering why you should listen to me, I'm not a dentist, I am a mum and I am an expert in my child. Rest assured that all of the information that I'm sharing in this video is from a reputable source, and that is the National Health Service here in the UK, the NHS, and I will have links to the sources and to everything I said down below. So without further ado, let's start talking about baby teething symptoms. How can you tell your baby is teething? When it comes to teething and pretty much everything, all babies are different. But your baby will probably get their first tooth in their first year of life. Some babies are born with their teeth, some start teething before 4 months old, and some don't even teeth until they're about 12 months old. However, the general rule is that most babies start teething around 6 months of age, and that was the case with our daughter. She got her first tooth exactly around her 6-month anniversary. If you're a nerd like me, you're probably wondering, is there an order in which the teeth appear, or is it random? And I have prepared a visual for you which I'll insert right now, which gives you a rough indication about the order in which the teeth will emerge. In terms of the symptoms that we could notice when our babies are teething, sometimes, the teeth will come in and there are no symptoms, no pain at all. Other times, you will probably experience or notice one of the following things. Your baby's gum is sore or red where the tooth is coming through. One cheek is flushed and red. They're rubbing their ear. Your baby is dribbling more than usual. They're gnawing or chewing on things a lot. They are more fretful than usual. And boy, will we talk about being fretful in the second part of the video. Now, some people think that teething can cause fever or diarrhea, and the NHS specifically says that there is no evidence to support that. This is one of those topics I find where the evidence and the experience of parents can sometimes clash. In the second part of the video, I'll tell you what our experience has been like with our baby, and I'll touch on this topic of fever as well, if this happens to you as well. So what did a week with a teething 13-month-old look like for us? At the beginning of the week is when we noticed a difference in Harper's behavior. Normally, she is a very independent child, likes to explore a lot, she's very active, she usually crawls everywhere, walks everywhere, touches everything. At the beginning of the week, we noticed this huge change by which she wanted to be held a lot. She was very irritable and she couldn't quite get comfortable. For us, it's a clear sign that something is wrong when Harper wants to be in our arms all the time. Not that that's not a very sweet and nice thing. We love the cuddles, but it just signals to us that she's not quite herself. And I do have a video on my channel where I share the first time that Harper ever got sick. If you're interested to watch that video, you could go ahead. It was a pretty stressful time. We had to go into the hospital and she had quite high fever. Having said that though, it did teach us a lot about her behavior when she's not feeling well. Specifically with teething, the pain kind of comes and goes in waves. So she'll be fine 1 minute and then the other minute she will just be crying for no apparent reason. When she was crying, I was able to look in her mouth and I could see her gums being so red and so sore. So it was easy and very clear to see that her discomfort was coming from teething. Now, the one moment that was a bit different this week was when we got a call from our nursery. So Harper is in nursery at the moment, and I have a whole video again about that whole experience of starting nursery with her when she was 10 months old. So we got a call from a nursery and they told us that she is running a slight temperature, 37 degrees Celsius. They usually call in these situations to ask for permission to administer Calpol. Calpol is the baby paracetamol. We said fine, and that helped a lot to reduce the temperature and also the discomfort and the pain that she was feeling with teething. So this is the part where I was saying that, the NHS says there's no evidence that teething can cause fever, but there is a lived experience of, her having had a slight temperature, nothing ridiculously high. Very different from that video I was telling you about, that experience when she got sick, where her temperature was something at 38.5, 39, close to 40 degrees Celsius. Very scary. That definitely was not caused by teething. There was something else going on. As I said, there's no evidence to support this, but how else could you explain the fact that she did have a slight temperature? Just keep in mind that this might happen. Usually a bit of Calpol will do the trick and would be enough to bring it down and to help relieve that discomfort. Now, overall, the week was just more taxing than usual. You just have to kind of prepare yourself mentally to know that if you're noticing these symptoms early on, to just kind of brace yourself, know what to expect, not read into every single time the baby cries, because they'll probably cry a lot. They won't want to do things they normally do. They just will be very irritable. In terms of sleep disruptions, they weren't that massive, but it could happen that they wake up in pain when they're teething. It's perfectly normal. So, you know, extra cuddles, you can look at that this way. Be prepared emotionally and, you know, be patient to ride this wave with your baby. Biggest piece of advice, keep her cool. Don't lose your shit. Okay, so we talked about symptoms, we talked about lived experience, what happened to us this week. Let's start talking about some tips, ways to help our babies through these teething pains. The first category I will talk to you about is teething rings. Teething rings give your baby something to chew safely. This may ease their discomfort or distract them from the pain. Now, some teething rings can be cooled first and provides this kind of soothing, cool sensation on the gums. For this, we have two types of teething rings. We have the set of individual rings, which we usually keep in the fridge, and also this sack of rings, which are very good at distracting her, and we often use them when we prepare lunch as well, and she can play with them for a little bit while we make food. The second category of items that could distract your baby while they're teething, if your baby is eating, if they're eating solids, if they're chewing, of course, over 6 months old, you could give them some piece of fruit or vegetable to help relieve the pain. Now, for this, slices of apple, carrot, cucumber are ideal, and you can of course keep them in the fridge to make them cooler a little bit and give a more soothing sensation. You could also try giving your baby a crust of bread or a breadstick. Of course, it goes without saying, but always stay around your baby when they're eating these things in case they choke. The third category of items that could help you in this situation when your baby is teething is teething gels. In preparing for this video, I read information on the NHS website that says that there is a lack of evidence to suggest that teething gels are effective, and that it's usually recommended to give non-medical options such as teething rings first before going for a gel. Having said that though, again, lived experience of parents is a different thing, and there are products on the market out there in pharmacies that you can buy that are teething gels that can help your baby. So we used this one in particular, and I think it was successful. We applied it on her gums about 10 minutes before her nap in the morning when it was really sore, and she was able to sleep for a whole hour, which was really good. It gave her some rest and it gave us a break. Obviously, when you go to the pharmacy and buy this gel, you can talk to the pharmacist, explain the situation, and they can advise on the best option for you. The fourth category of products that can help when your baby is teething is to give them paracetamol or ibuprofen. If your baby is in pain, you might want to give them a sugar-free pain-killing medicine. Paracetamol or ibuprofen can be given to relieve teething symptoms in babies who are 3 months or older. And we did on a couple of occasions give her Calpol to relieve the pain, and it did help. The final method to help your child through teething is to comfort them, and comforting a teething baby can be very, very effective. Holding them, rubbing them, playing with them, whatever helps to distract them from the pain in their gums. And the final note about comfort is to think about a comfort food or something that they could eat easily. Our go-to in these situations when Harper is teething is to make risotto. She loves risotto. It's very soft, she doesn't have to chew, and she eats so much of it, which is great because sometimes when you're in pain you kind of lose your appetite. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you're going through teething with your baby, I feel you. Hang in there. It does get easier and it is temporary. If you've got any other suggestions on how to relieve teething pain from our babies, please comment below and let us all know. We need all the advice and all the help we could get. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me again this week. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you next week. Bye.